Hollywood's golden age celebrated rugged cowboys, devoted fathers, and strong leading men. On screen, these stars represented confidence, honor, and the ideals America admired. Yet behind the glamour, many lived under relentless pressure to hide parts of themselves from the public. During the studio era, image was everything. Publicists managed rumors, arranged relationships, and carefully protected careers from anything that might challenge society's expectations. For some performers, success depended on maintaining a double life, one for the cameras and another behind closed doors. The stories in this video are not about scandal. They are about sacrifice, loneliness, and the human cost of surviving in one of Hollywood's most unforgiving eras. We begin with a silent film icon whose extraordinary success could not shield him from a lifetime of secrecy: Ramon Novarro. Few stars shone brighter during Hollywood's silent film era than Ramon Novarro. After his acclaimed performance in Ben-Hur in 1925, MGM promoted him as a sophisticated romantic idol and a worthy successor to Rudolph Valentino. Audiences admired his charm, elegance, and screen presence, helping him become one of the most recognizable faces of the decade. Behind that success, however, stood the harsh realities of an unforgiving studio system. During the 1920s and 1930s, Hollywood carefully managed the public image of its stars, and any hint of same-sex relationships could threaten a career overnight. Novarro never married, a fact that generated constant speculation. To protect both their investment and his reputation, studio publicists often encouraged carefully crafted stories about women in his life. Friends later described a man who was warm and generous, yet forced to keep important parts of himself hidden. Like many performers of his era, he lived a double life, celebrated by millions while carrying a private burden that few could truly understand. The final chapter of Novarro's life was heartbreaking. In 1968, he was killed during a violent robbery at his Los Angeles home. Rather than honoring his remarkable contributions to film history, some media outlets focused on sensational details surrounding his private life. Yet time has offered a more compassionate perspective. Today, Ramon Novarro is remembered not only as a pioneering movie star, but also as a symbol of the hidden agony endured by many performers of his generation. While Ramon Novarro's life ended in tragedy and public misunderstanding, Randolph Scott spent decades representing the ideal Western hero. Throughout the 1930s, 1940s, and 1950s, audiences admired his calm confidence, rugged appearance, and steady sense of honor. On screen, he embodied the traditional image of American masculinity that Hollywood eagerly promoted. Behind that image, Scott's private life became the subject of speculation that continues to this day. For many years, he shared a home with fellow actor Cary Grant in Santa Monica, an arrangement that generated rumors both inside and outside Hollywood. Historians still debate the nature of their relationship, and no definitive evidence has ever resolved the question. What is certain is that the studio era rewarded conformity and discouraged anything that challenged public expectations. Actors were expected to project stable, conventional lives, whether those images reflected reality or not. Scott married twice and maintained the respectable public persona that Hollywood demanded. His story illustrates how carefully personal identity was managed during an era when appearances often mattered more than authenticity. Unlike some stars whose careers ended in heartbreak, Scott retired peacefully and achieved financial success through investments outside the film industry. He spent his later years away from Hollywood's spotlight and avoided public controversy. Yet his legacy remains tied to a larger truth. Even the strongest screen heroes sometimes lived under pressures the audience never fully understood. And while Scott preserved the image of the perfect gentleman, another actor would face even harsher attempts to change who he was. While Randolph Scott maintained the image of the perfect gentleman, Anthony Perkins faced a more visible struggle between public expectations and private reality. Best known for his unforgettable performance in Psycho, Perkins became one of the most recognizable actors of his generation. Audiences admired his intelligence, sensitivity, and unique screen presence. Behind the success, however, stood the pressures of an era that demanded conformity. During the 1950s and 1960s, many actors feared that rumors about their personal lives could damage their careers. Perkins reportedly experienced intense pressure to fit traditional Hollywood expectations. As the studio system protected carefully crafted public images, many performers learned to conceal important parts of themselves. In 1973, Perkins married photographer Barry Berenson, and together they built a family with 2 sons. To the public, he appeared to embody stability and success. Yet his life reflected the difficult balance many stars faced while navigating societal expectations and professional demands. In his later years, Perkins confronted another challenge when he was diagnosed with HIV. Because of the stigma surrounding the disease at the time, he chose to keep his condition largely private. He passed away in 1992 at the age of 60. Today, his legacy extends beyond a single iconic role. He is remembered as a talented performer who endured immense personal pressures while working in one of Hollywood's most unforgiving eras. And while Perkins struggled with expectations imposed upon him, another beloved television cowboy would seek a quieter life far from Hollywood. While Anthony Perkins struggled beneath Hollywood's expectations, Guy Madison searched for distance from them. Rising to fame during the 1950s, Madison became a beloved television cowboy through his role as Wild Bill Hickok. His handsome appearance, calm confidence, and wholesome image made him a favorite among American families and helped establish him as one of television's recognizable Western stars. Away from the spotlight, however, life was rarely as simple as the characters he portrayed. Hollywood in the post-war era closely guarded the public images of its leading men. Madison's marriage to actress Gail Russell attracted attention, but ended after only a short time. Rumors about his private life continued to circulate throughout the industry, though many details remain uncertain. What is undeniable is the atmosphere performers faced. Studios valued marketable images, and actors often felt pressure to conform to social expectations. For many stars, privacy became a necessary shield in an industry where personal differences could threaten careers. Madison eventually spent much of his career working in Europe, especially Italy, where he found new professional opportunities away from Hollywood's intense scrutiny. He never experienced the public downfall that affected some of his contemporaries, nor did he openly discuss many aspects of his private life. Instead, he built a long career marked by quiet endurance. His story reflects adaptation rather than defeat, a reminder that survival sometimes meant finding a different path. And while Madison sought freedom abroad, another star would one day reveal the truth that Hollywood had long encouraged him to hide. While Guy Madison searched for freedom beyond Hollywood, Tab Hunter eventually found the courage to tell his own story. During the 1950s, Hunter became one of America's most popular young stars. His blonde hair, athletic appearance, and easy charm made him a favorite among fans and a valuable asset to the studio system. Behind the image, however, stood a life shaped by secrecy. Hollywood carefully controlled the personal lives of its stars, often promoting public romances that supported a marketable image. Hunter later revealed that he formed meaningful relationships with men, including champion figure skater Ronnie Robertson. Like many performers of the era, he understood that exposure could threaten everything he had worked to achieve. The result was a double life that brought success, but also isolation and constant caution. What makes Hunter's story unique is its hopeful ending. In 2005, he published a memoir that openly discussed his experiences and the pressures of Hollywood's studio era. After decades of silence, he was finally able to share his truth on his own terms. He spent his later years in a long-term relationship and found a sense of peace that had once seemed distant. His journey reflects not tragedy, but resilience and quiet triumph. And while Tab Hunter eventually embraced openness, the next star left behind mysteries that historians still debate today. While Tab Hunter eventually found the freedom to speak openly, Tyrone Power came from a generation that rarely received that chance. During the 1930s and 1940s, he was among Hollywood's most celebrated leading men. His charm, talent, and striking appearance made him one of the biggest stars at 20th Century Fox. Audiences admired him in adventure films, historical dramas, and romantic roles. To the public, Power represented the ideal Hollywood image. He married, raised a family, and maintained the reputation expected of a major star. Yet historians have long noted rumors and speculation surrounding parts of his private life. Whether true or not, those stories reveal the atmosphere of the studio era, when actors faced enormous pressure to protect their public image. Studio executives closely monitored publicity and personal relationships. In that environment, privacy often became a necessity rather than a choice. Many performers learned that preserving a career sometimes meant showing only the version of themselves that audiences expected to see. Power's life ended suddenly in 1958 when he suffered a fatal heart attack while filming in Spain. He was only 44 years old. His death shocked fans and preserved his image as one of Hollywood's enduring leading men. Yet his story also reminds us how much of a star's life often remained hidden from public view. Behind the glamour, many actors carried private burdens that never appeared on screen. And while Tyrone Power left behind unanswered questions, Richard Cromwell's unusual marriage would later reveal another side of Hollywood's hidden world. While Tyrone Power left behind questions that historians still debate, Richard Cromwell's story offers a rare glimpse into the hidden arrangements that existed throughout classic Hollywood. During the 1930s, Cromwell built a successful career appearing in adventure films and dramas. Though never among the industry's biggest stars, he earned respect for his talent and developed a steady presence on screen. The most discussed chapter of his life came in 1945 when he married actress Angela Lansbury. The marriage ended in less than a year, surprising many observers at the time. Decades later, Lansbury spoke openly about the relationship and suggested that Cromwell had struggled with aspects of his identity that could not be discussed publicly during that era. Their brief union has often been cited as an example of what became known as a lavender marriage, a relationship that helped shield performers from damaging speculation. Whether arranged intentionally or shaped by circumstance, such marriages reflected the enormous social pressures that existed in mid-century Hollywood. For many actors, protecting a career often meant sacrificing personal authenticity. Unlike some stars whose lives ended in public tragedy, Cromwell quietly reinvented himself. As his acting career faded, he devoted himself to art and became a respected ceramic sculptor. Away from Hollywood's spotlight, he found purpose in a more private life. His journey reminds us that success is not always measured by fame alone. Sometimes it is measured by the ability to move forward with dignity after the cameras stop rolling. The stories we've explored today are not simply Hollywood stories. They are human stories. These men played heroes, cowboys, romantic leads, and role models for millions of viewers. Yet behind the applause, many carried burdens that audiences never saw. They lived in an era when studio pressure, public expectations, and fear of rejection often demanded silence instead of honesty. Some found peace. Some endured loneliness. Some left behind questions that history may never fully answer. But all of them remind us that true strength is not measured by how convincingly someone performs a role on screen. It is measured by the resilience required to survive when the world asks you to hide who you are. Hollywood has changed dramatically since those days, but perhaps the lesson remains the same. Every public image hides a private story deserving of understanding and compassion. Do you think Hollywood today has truly become a place where people can live openly without fear of losing their careers? If you enjoyed this journey into Hollywood history, please subscribe to Hollywood Trainor for more stories that explore the lives behind the legends. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.